guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a really long time since we've had a video out. We've just been really busy. And also we have been doing a lot of odd and end projects that aren't really to a point of completion yet where we can make a video for it, but we do have a lot coming for you. And I apologize, this is gonna be a really long-winded video. I just wanted to take you through the entire process with me and just show you the hurdles that I faced, just so if you do this job yourself, it might be a little bit easier for you. There are a couple tools that I just wanna go ahead and mention now that would make your whole life a whole lot easier, and one of them being a large throat ball joint press, not the one you get from the auto parts store. This is larger than that one. And then also a U-joint separator or U-joint press. It'll make your life a whole lot easier doing the axle shaft U-joints. Also, y'all stick around till the end. We have a little something that we did to the truck to kind of spruce up the look. So y'all stick around to the end, check out that surprise. And also hit that like button if you do like this video. Also subscribe if you are not already, and drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right guys, and before we get started, I just want to share a passage from the Bible with you. It is Matthew 11 verses 28 through 30. This is Jesus speaking. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And guys, that's probably one of my favorite verses in the Bible. You know, we see these people in this world just chasing after the next best thing and just wanting more and more and more. And at the end of the day, just still feeling so empty inside. You know, as much fun as these trucks and Jeeps and engines are, we can't take them when we go. Everybody has a God-shaped hole in their heart that only He can fill. And all you have to do is repent and believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ. Have a relationship with Him, pray with Him, talk to Him like He's your best friend, and He will give you rest. And that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Tonight, we are gonna be starting to work on Old Smoky. Over the past couple of weeks, it has developed a axle shaft seal leak on the driver's side, and that was probably due to I got a worn out ball joint and a worn out U-joint. So it just kind of wears at that seal on the inside. So what we're going to be doing is going ahead and just tearing the whole front axle apart to change those inner axle shaft seals. We're going to just go ahead and do the bearings, ball joints, and I wish we could do hubs as well, but the budget is not really allowing it right now. But those can always be done at a later date and not as in depth as, you know, tearing into the inside of your axle. So looking at our parts on the table, over here we just have a outer tie rod in. I got a janky one on there that I don't know, I haven't replaced it, but like the castle nut doesn't even like fit down on it correctly. So just went ahead and got a new one of those to replace it. For our axle shaft seals, we went with SKF. Pretty much, I don't know. I like the SKF brand, national brand. I don't know if Timken makes them, but those are kind of some of the brands that I like to go with if I can. For our U-joints, I went with Spicer. I really don't know which ones. Some of these are actually we're going to rebuild our front drive shaft finally. This is hard one-handed. So I went with the Spicer non-greasable. From what I've read, the greasable ones need to be greased often, but these ones that are non-greasable, you're pretty much set for a very long time, and we definitely went with Spicer. You know, Moog's probably good too, but if I can go with Spicer with anything, I will do that. While I'm in here, this is a 250,000 mile truck. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace all the bearings on the carrier, so we don't have to worry about anything there. And when the front drive shaft let loose, before I got the truck, my front yoke was actually loose. So I don't know if that drive shaft slinging around actually crushed the crush sleeve anymore. So just to be on the safe side, I just wanted to go ahead and do all the bearings. So we got a Timken unit there. I also bought, I don't have one, but bought a little inch-pound torque wrench for us to check our preload on our pinion bearing once we get it all set up. And then as for this kit, it comes with our gear tooth compound there, so we can just make sure that everything is still in line once we put everything back together. Hopefully not having to change any shims, and we can use the shims that are the factory shims that are already in there. And then as for ball joints, I went with the AAM original equipment ball joints. If a set can last 250,000 miles, I will pay a little bit of extra money to get a set that'll go another 250,000 miles, hopefully. And one other tool that we did buy is a seal press. This one is actually for a Dana 30 through Dana 60. It did not say it was for the Dodge axle. But from what I'm seeing, the way you press on the seal with one end, and this goes up against the other side inside the carrier. That's really all that determines what axle you can use it on. So worst case, we might have to turn down like a little aluminum puck to the right diameter for these seals. So we will, once we get in there and actually are able to look at it, we will figure out a solution for that. So the reason I went with this one, this thing is only like 16 bucks on Amazon. I don't even think I could make anything like this for that cost, especially, you know, I don't even want to spend that much time doing it for 16 bucks. But if you went out, there are a couple companies that sell one that are specifically for the AAM Dodge front axle. But I think the cheapest one was like 200 and something bucks. So I'll spend the time to turn down a little aluminum puck that we can press this seal in correctly, and then a $16 tool that I can use on, you know, definitely know I can use it on some of my Dana 60 axles that I have. So my video here might not be like super technical and in-depth as others are. There is one video out there by Torque King 4x4, and it's probably one of the best videos on rebuilding this front axle. So that's the one I'm going to be referencing back to, you know, when I get into more of that technical stuff, all the torque specs, pretty much everything you need to know. So I'll put a link in the description below for that video. All right, guys, so this, as you can see, is leaking, and it's been leaking for a couple weeks. I don't know if you can tell. We have a seriously worn out U-joint right in here, which, as well as a bad ball joint, which is able to move up and down. I wish I still had the wheel on it, but that most likely, the time I ran on that, wore out that axle shaft seal on the inside, which caused it to leak. So shame on me, but we're gonna just go ahead and refresh the entire internals of the axle, and hopefully we won't have to worry about it. And guys, I didn't know it had gotten this bad, but we freaking lost a whole cap and broke the outer stub yoke, so that's not good. I noticed a little bit of vibration going on that was unnecessary, or that seemed a little different, but I did not know it had gotten that bad. So we'll have to find us another outer stub. All right, so I got about as far as I could get tonight. I forgot I did not have this size socket. I borrowed it from my dad last time, but went ahead and stripped down the brakes as much as I could. Drained the diff fluid. Everything actually looks pretty good in there. So tomorrow I'll get the axle nut socket so we can go ahead and bust that off. I've already found a new outer stub and got it on order. So that's, again, that's pretty unfortunate there, but I guess that's the name of the game. Shame on me for not finding that sooner, or replacing the U-joint sooner, but we'll get it fixed up right. So we'll pick back up with this tomorrow night. There she is right there. Nice and wore out. Change your U-joints, kids. This is the outer tie rod end that I was telling you about. I don't know what the heck is going on here or who installed this, but that's not okay. So it looks like this truck has already had a set of ball joints on it. No idea what brand they are, but they're definitely greasable. I got the little grease circ back here. But I do know this side, I don't know about, I think the passenger side was okay, but this side did already have play in it. So if I were to guess, whatever ball joints they replaced them with probably weren't as high quality as OEM. And a tip for you, when you go ahead and take these nuts down, go ahead and take it all the way off, just because an old ball joint probably will be pretty stiff, and then just thread it on a couple turns after you've taken it completely off, because I have done it before and learned from experience. I went ahead and took the nut, only brought the nut down, didn't take it all the way off, went ahead and separated my knuckle from my ball joint, and then I couldn't get the nut the rest of the way off, so then I had to actually saw it off. So go ahead and take your nuts all the way off and then thread them back on just to catch the knuckle whenever you separate it. I just love it when people do things the right way. I could see it on the other side too, but I think they kind of took the sledgehammer method on getting their old ball joints out. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go get you a ball joint press kit from the auto parts store. Do not hammer them out. Do it the right way. Also, probably should have done this last night, or at least 24 hours before, but we are going to go ahead and drop these in the freezer. unsure if this is gonna work or not and if this paint dot will stay on here, but I'm gonna mark right in between these two holes. And then when I go to take the side adjuster out, I'll count how many revolutions I turn to get it out. So hopefully when I put everything back together, I can get this lined up pretty quickly without too many trials to get it right. All right, guys, so this is our differential as it came out. Driver side, passenger side, as you were looking at it. And then you saw us count the side adjusters. We had 6 3/4 on this side and about a full 7 on this side. So just drove the races out, and looking at these things, this is our large pinion race. You can see there's a little bit of a pitting, not necessarily pitting from like rust or anything, but definitely some wear where you got some spots like starting to pop up. Definitely not a bad thing that we're tearing in this thing and getting everything squared away. Yeah, you can see some good spots there. And kind of wiping my finger around inside the differential, there definitely was some metallic paste floating around. But what can I say? This is a truck with 250,000 miles on it, so I'm not surprised. So you can see here, these don't really have any pitting or knots or anything in them, but definitely a good little wear ring. And all the tapered bearings, they look pretty good. But I would say you can definitely start seeing stuff show up on races before the rollers. But looking at the rollers, I mean, they look pretty good. All right, so now we're gonna drive out the old axle shaft seals. I do not have a driving tool, so I just got a length of pipe. So we're just gonna slide this in here and just beat on it and work our way around the seal until it pops out. So, problem I'm running into is my piece of pipe really isn't wanting to catch on this lip. It must be pretty small in there, and it's just wanting to shoot up in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this socket down the axle tube, and then hopefully it'll center up in that little cup, and I'll be able to drive it out. And I hope this one's big enough, and I hope we don't destroy the seal. I hope it'll just come right out. So let's try that, and if we have to, we can jump up to a bigger size socket. Not the ideal way, but we made do with what we had. I had to pull out the big guns for the beating stick. Definitely did a number on our little tube that used to be pipe threads. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start working on removing the ball joints. So like I said, do it the right way. Went to Advanced and rented this kit. It is like 260 bucks, but you will need this master kit. You cannot get the little small, whatever, like 6-8 piece set. Just go get the master kit. So the model number, kit 46, there's the model number of it. I forgot to hit the record button, but just got the lower ball joint out. I'll show y'all on the other side, but man, did I have a hard time with this kit. I know from the ones I've seen online that they're doing on these Dodge Rams, the C-clamp is actually a little bit longer, and some of these little attachments like this are another inch or two longer to allow for the length of these size ball joints. So that was a little bit of a pain in the butt, but let's jump over to the other side and I'll let y'all watch that. That is a horrible combination. This will get the job done, but I would say if you can find the proper ball joint press, I would say recommend trying to find that one. All right, so I got a little carried away with a little bit of spray painting. I'm gonna hold off for a second until I get these ball joints put in. But so we pulled out knurled ball joints, and I did see in one video they said if you pull out knurled ball joints, kind of go in here with a punch or something and just make several indentions, just so that'll keep the new, since we have a straight sleeve, no knurling on it, that'll just kind of give it a little bit of bite to keep it from spinning in the bore. I don't think it will, even if we didn't, but just to be safe, we're gonna go ahead and put a couple marks in there just to hold those things in place. So let's go ahead and get to that. All right, so before we start pressing these seals in, I'll show you what I kind of figured out, what I think might make this cheap $16 tool work for us to press our seals on. I cut out a couple of these plates. These will go up against basically where the axle tubes are pressed into, and that'll give us a solid place for the base to sit like this, and you'll understand it better once we get it in, start putting it in. So this will be the opposite side of the seal we're installing, and on this side, on the lathe, I just kind of turned down a piece of aluminum real quick. Not pretty, but I was working fast. But basically a slight step there for it to fit onto that piece. That'll keep it centered. And then this, you can kind of see it's dished in the middle on the outside, and that is where our seal will go. So that kind of fits right in there. It'll keep it centered, so we don't have to worry about messing up any of the threads for the side adjusters. And so we'll press one side in, and you can see I had to add about 2 inches just for me holding this tool up inside of the housing. It was a little short. So I haven't tried this yet, so we'll see how it works once we put it up in the truck, and we'll see where it goes. All right, so we got our housing all cleaned out. I wire brushed in here where the old seals were, sprayed it out with brake part cleaner, and then went ahead and cleaned the entire housing just so we're not spraying brake part cleaner in here once our new seals are installed. So I guess let's see how this installer tool goes. All right, so you can see seal is back behind here. The aluminum puck is registered onto it. This is registered onto that. We have our shaft in here, and then it's sitting pretty centered on that round plate that I cut out. So we'll go ahead and try to press this thing in. Let's see, that's pretty dang good. It's lifted up just a hair over here. So I have another one of those round plates, so I'll just go ahead and slap that round plate on there and push everything flush with that axle tube. Got that side in, it's flush all the way around. We got that side in, it's flush all the way around, so tool worked good. So I guess next we'll start addressing these bearing races. So I went to the auto parts store and rented a bearing cup bearing race installer tool. The largest one, it's not quite big enough for this thing, but this method, I'll hold it as center as I can. It'll be better than just a punch. And then to drive it in the last little bit, we could just use our old race and set it right up against the old one and just make sure it's seated in place well. And then this bearing, we'll use this. Normally, I will, in the past, I've used a punch, but I always end up, chipping the edge of the punch off multiple times. So I'm kind of over that, trying to use a punch. So definitely wanted to try to do it the right way this time. So we got our new races in the freezer. They've been there for a couple hours, so we're going to go ahead and grab those and install them. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and replace our bearings on our carrier and our pinion. Here's our new bearings, so we're gonna take those over to the press. This pinion bearing is pressed on, and then the two bearings on the carrier are pressed on. So we'll use, the method I'm gonna use is a bearing splitter in a hydraulic press. You can also, there are kind of bench top bearing pullers. It's kind of like a two cups that go on either side of the bearing, and then a sleeve that goes over top of it, and kind of like a threaded shaft that pulls it. You could use that if you do not have a hydraulic press, but thankfully I have a hydraulic press, so that is the method we are going to use. So let's grab our bearings and head to the press. You can see with the cage cut off of our old bearing, it is able to sit on the nose of the new bearing, so we're not touching the cage at all. So we'll go ahead and press the pinion into it. All right, so I didn't quite anticipate my ring gear not being able to fit in between the rails of my press. So I kind of hacked this together. I got my bearing splitter, and I do not have a, I don't know, whatever you call this, H-bar or something for this large splitter. So I had to kind of throw something together. So I got actually a Dana 60 pinion inner race, one of my setup bearings that I've had already. And it fits just inside of the old bearing. A plate, my little H plate, H-bar for another press I have, and then some GM head bolts and some spacers. So hopefully this won't blow up, but all we need to do is just be able to pop these side bearings off, and then we'll press the new ones on in the press. So let's see if this works. All right, got those off. Definitely not the correct way to do it, but sometimes you got to make stuff work. It's 11 o'clock at night right now, trying to get as much done as I can. So, you know, I did it in a way that it didn't damage anything. But like I said, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. If you can get the right tool, get the right tool. So it takes about 300 foot-pounds to start crushing the crush sleeve. I tried doing it with a breaker bar and my pinion holder tool, but it just wasn't enough. So I used the impact. I drew lines on the socket so I could see how much I was tightening the nut so I wouldn't over tighten it. And I kept tightening it until I achieved 25 inch-pounds of rotational resistance. So here we're threading our side adjusters back into the housing, and I'm counting the same amount of revolutions it took to take them out of the housing. And this will just give us a good benchmark of where to start. All right, so we're at 8 thousandths backlash. So we need to get it a little bit tighter. So we need to move the carrier this way. So what we're gonna do is loosen this one. So rotate this side down, and we're gonna rotate this side down as well, one hole at a time. All right, so you can see we're at about 6 thou, so I think we're gonna call this good. And I don't know if it's a coincidence, but our side adjusters are lined up exactly how they were before we took everything out. We're making full contact on the drive side across the teeth, and then looking at the coast side, let's see, let's get it to a better spot. And you can see on the coast side, we're making pretty good contact across the teeth as well. And it's getting down in there, so looking good. So I had so much stinking trouble last night with getting the U-joint out of this, kind of the old-fashioned way. What was happening was when I went to go, I pressed the lower cap out fine, but when this cap dropped into the center cavity and I tried pressing it back out, since this face right here isn't a flat surface, it was wanting to bind that U-joint in there, and kind of it ended up scraping away a little bit of material in there, which is not good. So I kind of stopped on that. Unfortunately, my tool that I had bought was a little too small for this size yoke. So at work today, I kind of made up this tool really quick out of some scraps that we had laying around, and the plasma cutter. So we will take this to the press and be able to press it out the same way that this tool works. So the way this tool, as well as this tool right here, works is this presses down on the cross of the U-joint. So as you press it, just the bottom cap will come out and this cap will stay stationary. Then once you get the bottom cap out, you flip it over, and then this cap comes out the opposite direction, and you don't run the risk of binding these caps or getting them misaligned when they have to come back through. So we'll go ahead and get the snap rings off of inside of here and go take it over to the press and try to press them out. So we got a quick wire wheel on all the yokes, and then we also hit that surface, these inside machine surfaces, with a file just to make sure they're flat, so our snap rings will go on easy. And then since we screwed up that outer yoke, that outer stub shaft, it was broken. We got a new AAM one, and that is AAM part number right there. Got it off of eBay. It's like 150 bucks. And then we have our new Spicer non-serviceable U-joints. And that is part number right there. So we are going to go ahead and put these outer stubs together. We'll throw them in the truck, and then we'll go ahead and paint them. All right, so when we push this on, we're gonna push it about 1/4 inch further than it needs to go. Go ahead and snap on our snap ring. Then we'll be able to locate this cap on the U-joint cross, so we don't risk any of the needle bearings in the cap falling out. And then we'll just push it back into the snap ring over here, snap our other snap ring on, and then we're good. And also be sure to keep the caps in the same orientation they came off. So this cap right here is right there. This cap right here came off that side of the cross. All right, so we're gonna be putting some Valvoline full synthetic in there. And also we're gonna add a little bit of Hot Shots Secret FR3. You can add this to your gear oil, and I think it is 1.5 ounces per quart. So I think the front axle holds about 2.3 quarts. And so we'll probably put roughly 2 quarts in there, and then a little bit of friction reducer. So all right, guys, so it's been a couple of weeks since we actually finished up the work on the truck. I was able to pull it back in the shop tonight and finish painting up the axle and giving it an aerosol overhaul. It's no show truck finish, but looks way better than it did. And I'll tell you one thing. Let's just look at these headlights real quick. They have definitely made the truck look a whole lot better. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. And again, I apologize that this video was so long. I just wanted to take you through each step, kind of, you know, make my comments on the things I ran into, and definitely prepare you for what tools you will definitely need to be able to make the job easier. I would say, hands down, definitely go try to find you a large throat ball joint press. That would have made the job way easier. You know, you might have to buy one on Amazon or something, but I definitely think it would be worth the money. And I apologize for me saying so much. I haven't made a video in a long time. See, there I go again. But we're gonna work on saying a little bit less. But again, thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you are not already. Hit that bell button as well so you can get notified whenever I come out with a new video, because we definitely are going to have more stuff coming out more often, hopefully. And again, God bless all of y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.